Okay, welcome to this Vue and Python demo. We're going to build a mobile web app using Python and Vue, and you'll be able to upload photos from your phone or make a list of the photos you've uploaded. So we're going to start with this Hello World app. Oh, by the way, these are the tools we're going to be working with. You're probably familiar with Vue. That is a popular JavaScript framework that is similar to React, and Mint UI you may not have heard of, but it is a set of user interface elements similar to Bootstrap. And then Fleet is a new platform for building Python apps in the cloud. So these are the Fleet example apps, and this Hello World app will be our starting point. So what we're going to do is click to download it. Click on raw here, and then save this file. Okay, so now to start editing this app, we're actually going to drag this file into our web browser. And now it's running this mobile web app, and also we can click through to see the live instance of the web app, and we click this button down here when we change the code, and it'll save it to the cloud. So let's drag this also to our text editor. So here's our code for our app, and what we're going to do is delete this Hello World code. And let's go ahead and create a file upload control that'll give us a little bit of user interface here and see if this is working here. Okay, so we'll do file upload, and then I'm going to save this. Click over here, and I'm going to click this Save Code Changes. And there we go. We can choose a file to upload it. So let's go ahead and continue on here. We're going to give the upload URL here so that when the user chooses a file, it gets sent to the server. We'll actually put a variable here called upload2, and then we'll define that variable here in our Vue app. So upload2 is going to link to this URL. And upload file is going to be our Python function that we're going to create. So this is how we link to it. So let's go ahead and create that upload file function. So let's do def upload file. And we're actually going to need to create a directory for our upload. So we're going to check to see if the directory exists. So it's like a folder, os.path.exists, and we're going to make a folder called my files to put our photos in. So if it doesn't exist, then we're going to create that directory. So you do that like this: make dirs my files. Now we have to get our indentation correct here on the Python code. So now we can copy our uploaded file. There will be an array or a dictionary called file data that has the temporary file name of the file that the user uploaded, and then our destination is going to be this my files folder that we created plus the name of the file that the user uploaded, which is in the file data name field. So the last thing we're going to do is we're going to create a database table called files. And it'll be created using these fields that we define here. And you can also add fields later. But this is going to be a table named files with a field named name for each file name. And so we're going to put a file name in there from the uploaded file. So that should work for uploading files. So let's go ahead and save our changes and go over here to save code changes, which will save that to the cloud. And now we can choose a file, and let's do 2 here. So we uploaded a file. Now we want to show a list of the files that we've uploaded. The way you do that is I'm going to create a method. Let's see, I'll call it get files, and it'll be a Vue HTTP connection. We're going to connect to the server, to our Python, and so we need to put a URL here to the Python code. And then when we get the response, we're going to put that into a local variable called this.files, and we'll set that to the response.body. So we need to define that files variable here in our Vue app. So we'll do files, we'll set that to an empty array, and now the last thing we want to do is we want to call this getFiles function when the page loads. So I want to just, when the page loads, this created method gets triggered, so I'm going to do this.getFiles, and that will run our getFiles function whenever the page gets loaded. So what we need to do now is create our Python getFiles function. So that'll be this, and we're going to query our database by doing get all on the files table, and then we're just going to print out a JSON of the files data, and that will be sent back to our front end. So that'll be the results of this Python function will come back from this HTTP request, and then we will put that data into this files array in the Vue front end app, and that comes from our response.body. So that's good. Let's see. Now we need to create a little bit of user interface here to show the list of files. So that looks like this. MT-cell is part of the Mint UI toolkit. So we'll say file index in files, and then set a title equal to file.name. So this file.name comes from our SQL database because we defined a field called name for each item in our database, in our files table. So we're going to have a list. There's actually maybe a couple extras from previous demos. So let me see here. Alright, that should work. So I'm going to click Save Code Changes here, and we got a list. Let's try this here. It looks like we got an error in my code here. refs.fc. There's an error in my HTML code here. What did I do here? Oh, I didn't end my MT-cell right there. See, I forgot that little slash. So I add that. Reload this page, and that's better. So let's see here. Our file names, I expected our file names to be showing there, and that's not happening. So let's see, did I make a mistake here? Did get all files, and we uploaded a file, and we printed that out to the front end, and we set this.files to the response body. Oops, I see the error here. Check this out. I called this function myFiles, then down here I called it getFiles. So I'm going to go with getFiles. We'll change this, save the file, click Save Code Changes. There we go. Now if I upload a file here, and then reload, try that again here. Okay, so my database is not saving. Let's see. Upload file. Temp file. It's not temp file, it's temp name. So my uploads aren't working. So now when we save the code changes and upload a file, it will actually get uploaded. We hit reload, and now we got 3 files. So how do we create a link to these files is our last task. And the way you do that is you go in here and you're going to modify this list of files. We'll do is link, and then 2 equals, we're going to create a variable called link2, which would be the base of the URL, and then we're going to pass the file.id, which is your database record ID. It's going to be an integer. So link2 we're going to define right here, and we're going to set that to this URL, and this is going to be my file and file equals, and we're going to create our my file function here. And the way this works is, I'm almost done, Alec.
Okay.
My file. We're going to get that file from the database using the ID from the URL, and then we just return some JSON to the response. And what that looks like is this file, and it's going to be in our My Files folder. The first item that's returned, and the name of it, so that'd be the name of the file, and then the type, set that to image JPEG. Okay, now if we click on a file, we should see that file. So I'm saving that. Click Save Code Changes here. And if I click on one of these files now, you can see there's a link. So that works. That works. That works. So that is pretty much it. Actually, one last thing, you can click through here. If I click on this link down here, it'll take me to the live version of this app, and maybe later I will hook my phone in so I can actually use the app on my phone, and we can try it out that way. Okay, thanks for checking out this demo. More demos to come.
Can I get in there?
Sure. You see it?
Hi.
Hi. Okay, that's Alec. Alright, Alec. Scram. Okay, I gotta stop. Let's see if I had any. Oops.